Hi, it's Fly, and can we talk about the non-member experience in AnimalJam? So I feel like this has been a topic of discussion for a while now, like years. People have been complaining about it a lot because the membership really does restrict players. And this isn't a video meant to attack AGHQ or complain about the game. It's just to look back on how this part of the game divided a lot of players and how it affected us. I mean, I remember being a child and begging my parents just for a month of membership to like show off my member items and spikes or whatever it was called at the time. So finally, I convinced my mum that £4 would make me the happiest and coolest kid on earth. Anyway, after that, on every birthday and special occasion and holiday, I would ask my parents for the same thing, just an AnimalJam membership. I mean, if you were older at the peak of AnimalJam, maybe you paid for your own membership, but let's admit it, this was a core memory for most kids online at the time, begging their parents for the memberships, whether it was like Movie Star Planet, AnimalJam, I don't know what else there was, Pop Tropica, Club Penguin, any of that. Anyways, all that was to ask the question, why is membership so crucial to play this game? Or at least why did it feel like it was? AnimalJam restricts players from wearing or showing off a majority of items. A lot of them are locked behind the paywall. So if you wanted a cool outfit to show off to everyone in Jamal, you probably can't actually wear it, and it's super disappointing. That was probably one of the main reasons that convinced me to convince my parents to buy me a membership. And honestly, to this day, I still feel like buying a membership for myself just because I want to dress up my character again. But if you've ever played as a non-member, even for a day, I'm sure that you got that pop-up book telling you to buy the membership to try on your hard-earned items, and all you could do was sadly flip through the pages showing you everything you're not allowed to do as a baroki. Did you want to choose a cool den? Because there's a ton of them, but as a non-member there's only about 3 options to choose from, and they're all just seasonal variants of the same small house. Then once you choose your only option, you decide to make the most out of it and at least decorate nicely. But you can't really do that either, because most nice decorations are locked behind the membership, and if you decide to just use the basic non-member stuff, you'll still have to spend thousands of gems on them. Now, what is the best way to get gems in AnimalJam? Let's be honest, you probably looked that up on YouTube, and people were always spreading weird glitch rumors saying that if you go to the diamond shop dressed in all white and then you jump and you dance, then you'll get a bunch of diamonds. Obviously they didn't work. So the actual way to get gems would be to play the mini games or play the adventures. Now, I understand the clothes, furniture and cosmetic stuff being locked away, but adventures? How can you lock away such a big part of the game from so many players? Aren't adventures meant to say the lore of AnimalJam and spread the story? Why would you make that something that isn't playable for a lot of people? Actually, I just checked, and apparently they were unlocked a few years ago, because I was wondering, how are they all unlocked? I thought that they were all locked until you progressed, or unless you were a member you couldn't play them. But thankfully AnimalJam made a very smart decision to unlock all of the adventures. I guess part of the reason must have been the animals that non-members couldn't play as, like flying animals that are needed to play the Forgotten Desert adventure and that non-members couldn't get. Which brings me on to another way that AnimalJam restricted non-members, and still do, through playable animals. Now, I don't know if they're still being sold, but AnimalJam used to have membership bundles that came with memberships, diamonds, gems, and also special animals that you can play as. I think it made a lot of sense at the time to keep those animals exclusive and special to those who bought them. But later on they did bring in a lot of the animals from the membership bundles, like the Arctic wolf for example, and more animals got added. You could totally see how AnimalJam was really trying to push people to buy the membership, because you're restricted to only having 2 playable animals and like 10 out of 65 animals to choose from in the whole game if you're a non-member. I think the most popular animals must have been the Arctic wolf and the eagle, which neither can be played by a non-member. And if you weren't one of these, then you were probably not very popular. I mean, people used to throw around the term non-member like a slur, like it was something to be ashamed of, which was very unfortunate and very unfair. Another silly thing that you can't do if you're not a member is send and receive gifts through Jamagrams, which is so annoying, because if you win giveaways or if somebody wants to gift you something, you can't because you're not a member, which is very unfair. I think you should be able to receive them but not send them. And speaking of Jamagrams, you also cannot send your own messages, which is equally stupid. I think it might be something to restrict new players from sending inappropriate things, but I think the filters are very harsh anyway, so it's not like people are going to use that in bad ways. I don't understand why you would have to buy buy membership to be able to send people custom messages. Another way you could message people is by writing something on their Jam wall. And I think this is another silly feature where non-members are being restricted, because a lot of people use Jam walls to give sort of reviews on trading. So if somebody is a scammer and they scam a non-member, how will more people know if the non-member can't send things on that person's Jam wall or on their own to advertise it? Also, I think it's just a great way of connecting with people. So non-members are very limited to how they can interact with other players. As well as this, you can't host adventures on your own. So if you want to go and add people to your adventure, you can't. I guess you could go to the training grounds and ask people to follow you, but I think it's just another unfair thing where non-member jammers can't interact with other people in the same way. A newer feature as well is the My Shops. Well, they're not that new now, but when they came out, people were so sad that non-members can't interact with them and they can't even buy them, which is such a shame because non-members are being restricted in how much they can profit in the game and they can't really contribute to the Animal Jam economy in the same way. It feels crazy saying Animal Jam economy because it's a kids game, but there is actually an economy, let's not lie. I think there's only one person, or maybe there's a few, but recently people have noticed that this one jammer can actually have a working My Shop while being a non-member. And this is the person. I'm gonna put them up on the screen. I really don't see the issue behind letting non-members use My Shops and buy from them at least. Anyway, you would go to the pillow room and see all the role players, and people only wanted to be adopted by the rich members, and parents would only want to adopt members too. I mean, maybe it was in hopes of getting things in return, like, you know, rares and gifts and things from richer players. Maybe it was because their house could be bigger and more decorated, which is better for their role plays. Or maybe it was just genuinely classism between children online. Those are all the things that I can list at the moment, but if I missed anything, then just tell me in the comments, because I'm sure there's a few more things that non-members can't do that members can, and it's very unfortunate. Anyways, again, I don't want this video to come across as me complaining, but it's more just advocating for the players who were pushed away from not spending money on the game, and also just to explore how memberships in early online games like this made kids kind of classes for a while. But that can be seen in really everywhere, with skins, loot boxes, cosmetics, and perks in most games now. Memberships were especially popular back in the day with early online games, like I said before, but it is also especially prevalent now with tons of microtransactions and things that kids can beg their parents for. And even though Animal Jam is sometimes painted as being greedy, you can't really blame them for wanting to profit off their popular game and pay the developers. I mean, I think it is essential for growing the game, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think the prices of the membership went down a bit as the game died out. Also, nowadays there are ways to get sapphires and trade those sapphires for a membership on both games. If you play the newer Animal Jam game, which is now just called Animal Jam, you can gather sapphires by My Shops and you can then buy yourself a membership. Finally, I have to say that a lot of the player base are grown up now and they have their own jobs, not relying on their parents to buy them memberships, which I think is one of the main reasons that a majority of Animal Jam players do have memberships now. Anyways, thanks for watching my first video here. I would announce some sort of giveaway, but I don't really have anything to give away, so I'll try and sort that out, sort of give back to you for being the first to support my new channel. Bye!